Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to this fine Wednesday. This is Angela R. Sasser, and this is my Wednesday evening stream. I'm an artist, a mask maker, and a writer. I do a lot of different things, and you can surf those galleries full of different art at angelasasser.com. But today I'm actually working on sticker designs. These sticker designs were unlocked by my Patreon patrons who were so kind to offer me their support. So I've been working on the whole set of them. They're for a series inspired by birthstones, so there'll be 12 of them. And the last time on the stream, on Monday, I finished up this gal right here. She was the gal for September. My little gym gal, as I call them. And if you are unfamiliar with this series, you're new tuning in today, you can actually see more of this series online. And I'm going to put a little link in there. But there are all these galleries here for each birthstone lady. And you can click on them and explore all the fun imagery within. I've written up a little about their symbolism. You can see the masks that I made for them. And we're going to copy and paste this one as a reference because I'll be coloring the October one today. So I want to have her original painting up. So they started out as these fine art style images first before they became super cute chibis that I thought I'd do for fun and for the sticker designs. Because chibis are like super awesome chill time for me. I love drawing them. They're simplified but still detailed, and that just scratches all my itches as an artist. Sometimes you just gotta let go and draw some chibis. So, got my reference. Oh yeah, let me link this real fast. Explore the birthstone goddesses online at gemgoddesses.angelicshades.com. And one last plug before I get started. We've got the Goddesses of Summer Birthstone and Flower hard enamel pins still going strong on Kickstarter right now. Yay! We're almost funded. Look how far we got. We're at $19.90 of $2,400, and I'm just like sitting here staring at this number going, you can hit 2,000. Seriously, if I get like one pledge for a pin while I'm streaming tonight, that'll put me over 2K and you will have made my day. So if you want to be my 76th backer who backs for a pin, you will make my day. And here's a look at the pins. They're also inspired by the same birthstone series. So these are the Goddesses for Summer, June, July, and August. So that's Pearl, Ruby, and Peridot. And you can get a pen or a pen and a print. Everybody who pledges $5 and up is going to get these 3 coloring pages. And so there's lots of awesome goodies within. So let me send you guys a link real fast in the chat. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. We are almost funded, and then I won't have to worry as much about it anymore. But also, if we can get funded, there's some stretch goals for if I can get even more than just the base funding. So, like, let me show you the stretch goals real fast. Stickers, all the stickers, and then these awesome danglies where I'll be attaching crystals to the bottom of the pin. Like that would be so epic. So let's do it, you guys. We gotta get those stretch goals. There we go. That is now in the chat. So let's get to work. And I'm going to be attempting to drink my tea and draw, because I got a little behind tonight and didn't finish my tea, so bottom it up. with a little matcha to keep this stream going. So what we're aiming to do tonight is lay in the color flats and also colorize the lines. And I have the Little Lady of September up here as style reference. This started all with colorizing with the midtones first. And then also you can see if I get real close in here where I've colorized the lines so that the black outline is the darkest thing that you see around the edge to simulate this Art Nouveau Mucha sort of feel that these images have. I kind of wanted to replicate that with even just the chibis as well. So, alright, let's hop to it and put her in this tab. Hope y'all are doing well this fine evening. 4th of July is tomorrow. So I know lots of folks are settling in to relax with the day off tomorrow. Ooh, I just realized my music isn't on. I'm gonna get that music going. Can't have a stream without music. Music courtesy of Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, who's graciously offered his music royalty free for creators of all sorts. There we go. Music's going. Alright, let's draw some stuff. And if you're tuning in, feel free to say hi in the chat. Tell me what you're doing. Always am curious to hear what folks are up to while they're watching my streams. People tend to be creative types as well, as some of y'all are cross-stitching, embroidering, sewing, writing. You guys do lots of cool things, and I always love to hear about it. And as always, I love answering questions, so if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate all of these. Well, first we're going to group these lines into one thing because they're all different elements right now that I've saved. And I need to be able to manipulate that line art all in one layer. So we're going to duplicate it and merge it. But keep the original line separate in case I need to edit this picture for any reason. So we're going to just hide that line group. Let me actually name the group before I forget what it is. Let's call this one line art. So I already see some stuff that I need to clean up here. Like, I like to have all these loops closed, clean up some of these straight lines, make sure these corners are even. So let's do that. So we're just keeping it simple tomorrow. We're just gonna hang out with friends and make some burgers and probably watch movies. 'Cause life has been way too busy lately. Maybe see some fireworks. It's just too hot in Georgia to do much of anything else too. It's hot down here. I have like most people, I guess, hibernate in winter, and summer is my hibernation time. Alright, any more straight lines or gaps? This one came out pretty clean. I was pretty pleased with how this one came out. Oh, and for those who haven't met my little lady of October here, she is the Lady of Opals and of Marigolds. And this one had a lot of interesting research that I did for it. I like to, in the process of doing these paintings, I researched the meaning of the gemstones, the symbolism. Excuse me. And the opal was an interesting stone because there was some not crazy, but there were some interesting beliefs about the powers of opal, including the idea that they helped heal your vision. There's also even a bit of folklore I found that opals will grant you invisibility, like it hides you from viewers, so it's a thief's stone. There's all sorts of interesting things that have to do with vision, which is why if you look real closely at Lady of October, just let me bring her up. If you look closely at her adornment, she has all these eyeball-themed opals in her jewelry because of that. And she's also surrounded by marigold petals that are floating along with her. And the idea behind this was that she's following the scent of the marigolds to the shrines that have been laid out for lost souls. She's very much a Day of the Dead and All Hallows Eve sort of figure, since her sister, Lady of November, is also Day of the Dead themed, but it extends from the end of October into the beginning of, the end of November into the beginning of October. So they are interrelated sisters, and I can pull up her sister real fast. Actually, let me just pull it up from the website. Or end of October to the beginning of November. So you can see November with her theme as well, guiding the souls back. That seems to be a theme with the later autumn ladies. And also, marigolds are said to, the scent of them, that strong musky scent, is said to bring spirits back. It's from Mexican indigenous beliefs. Mexicana, I believe it's called. And then you have the little wisp here to represent her souls. And it all seemed to mesh really well together. Like, I have this idea that the opal helps her be able to see these invisible things. And she's maybe half spirit herself. Like, the further this series went on, the more they gained their own sort of fantastical story that wasn't quite as linked to real-world goddesses. Like, a lot of the earlier ones in this series do have their roots in real-world goddesses like Persephone or Demeter. But the Autumn Gals, they just wanted to be their own thing. They took on a life of their own, and I kind of like that. I think it shows that I really got carried away with them. So anyways. Oops. Back to arting. This is really my excuse to get a few more sips of tea in. Nom nom. Alright. So, flats. Laying in color flats. Oh, I'd like to start with the skin. I think the pose of this one ended up being my favorite. The pose of this particular chibi lady. She's just so graceful, and this flow that we got, this S-curve going through the whole thing, just, it all meshed together. Like, I can't even express it, apparently. I'm just like, flow. It flows. It's sort of this indescribable feeling you get when an image does what you want it to. Because when you're an artist, it's so rare that that happens. Like, it most of the time, every piece I do, I'm like, didn't quite do what I want, but at least it's mostly succeeding. Because I'm an exceeding perfectionist. Alright, I think I got all the skin, so let's make a layer. And I always like to expand the selection by 1 pixel, so we try to overlap the line just a hair. Because there'll always be some gaps if you don't do that. There'll probably still be gaps anyway, but that helps get rid of most of them. Though I see that there should be a touch of negative space here, but it's kind of sloppy, so let's fix that, shall we? So I also call this lady the Lady of Lost Souls. I imagine that, unlike a lot of the other ladies in this series, she's actually one of the goddesses that's forever searching for lost spirits. But that this time of year in October represents that time of year when darkness descends and we're going into winter. So she's guiding the souls to safety before they get trapped in the dark. In the mists. So I'd say she works the hardest of all the ladies, perhaps. November's kind of stationary. She lets the spirits come to her, but I feel like October here is actually proactive. She's taking the initiative. She's going out to look for the souls herself. And then August, who you guys saw recently. Let me bring her up because I really like how she came out. She's more of the tour guide, you know. There are spirits who like to come visit their family, and she's just kind of there to make sure they follow the path there and they follow the path back. So she's more of a tour guide. The Lady of October here, she's bringing home the bacon. She has a very pointy thumb, so I'm gonna round those off. They look weird. Weird. Nothing like claw hands. See that I simplified the jewelry so that the jewelry doesn't have any gems in the center, really. I'm trying to think if I'm going to add the centers back into these eyeballs here. But I don't know. I'm trying to stay simple, but it's very, very hard with these. Especially one like this where she's just got all these nice little details in her jewelry. I think I'm going to show the skin beneath the veil here, so we're going to color that in as well. I was definitely very, very inspired by researching the symbolism behind Coco as well. The movie Coco, which I highly recommend. It's gorgeous. It's very touching. Have your tissues ready. And not just for kids either. Like, I feel like there's an important message there even for adults. Just about memory and honoring your family, but also coming to grips with family being very human and sometimes a little overbearing. Alright, so she doesn't have hair. She has mainly... Shut up, phone. We're gonna turn my phone on to silent. Oh, and I should say the images scrolling at the bottom of the screen in the corner, the right corner, those are all different aspects of Lady of October. I've got some photos that were created by Winter Wolf Studios of my masks. She did such a lovely job photographing them. And then you'll also see some of the thumbnail sketches and fashion sketches I did to help develop this painting on the left. I deep dived with these paintings. I got very into the mythology and all the folklore involved in it. Because they kind of came to me only after I did all that research and sort of let the symbols speak a story to me by trying to relate them all together. Which sometimes wasn't easy. Like September was awful because I didn't have any ideas for her at first. Let's see. But then once I sat and thought about the equinox and some of the events that happened during the year and during the month in September, the idea finally came to me, and she ended up being like the second best one in my opinion. Fixing a little error here because it feels like this is doing this, but then the line's not quite lining up here. Stuff I wouldn't notice until I zoomed in this far. So it'll be interesting to do the opalescent effect in her clothing because she's simulating that blue orange flash in opal. So that's gonna be really fun to color. Especially with her eyes, since you can see her eyes more clearly in this chibi one. So I definitely want to make her eyes look like the gemstone with that flashing colors inside of them. So I'm so looking forward to the shading part of this, the rendering part, where we get to sit and actually have fun with all that. But for now, we're just color flatting. And we're also going to take out this line here with the eyes. So they are there basically so that the coloring pages I made of these have that information for colorists, but I don't need that information in the final version for myself, because I feel like that'll bring some nice subtlety back to the image, not having the glare here be outlined. it kind of flattens and deadens the image when you have an outline on everything. So we're just gonna mask it out. But I'm not being terribly precise because we can come do the precision work with the brush tool in a minute. Oop, wrong thing. There we go. She gets to look like a scary zombie for a little while, though. Which actually kind of fits her since she's the more ghostly, otherworldly goddess in the bunch, next to the goddess of November, who is essentially an undead goddess. She's inspired by the goddess that rules the underworld. Aztec underworld, I should specify. For now, I think I'll just do a very light green, bluish green for the pupils until I can come back in. So even more zombie-like. I may even come back and make the lips lose their outline too, but I'm still undecided on that. At least I remember the eyebrows this time. I completely forgot September's eyebrows before. Oh, my tea's getting cold. Oh no. I'm missing a jug it all real fast. Oh no, no, no. Okay, next. Let's do the. I guess she had. See, now I can't remember what her eyebrows were even. You can't even tell what color they were. But you can clearly see the eyebrows in this one, so I do have to decide on her hair color. Maybe she has like pale white hair. We're going to just put some placeholder eyebrows for now. But I can see her with cool, pale, opaly hair. But it's very clearly breaking the rules on realism, especially with these autumn ladies. And heck, even November has blue skin. Which I wasn't planning at first, but I did the blue underpainting, and I liked how well it set off the orange outfit that she was wearing, that I decided to just leave it. Bring it to expand. So So this week is just flying by. Kickstarter's been going super well. And now my main concern, aside from just wrapping up the Kickstarter and getting that all done later, is DragonCon. DragonCon's just around the corner and it's gonna be here before we know it. And yes, I plan this early for conventions because DragonCon's a big one. That one's a big chunk of my income. And it's also where I meet the most people. And this year's extra important since I have my first ever booth. It's gonna be an 8x10 booth, and I get to fill it full of stuff inspired by my ladies. So maybe by then I'll have the stickers here that these are for ready at the booth. That would be pretty cool. So I'm just like taking inventory now, trying to figure out, well, what might sell there, how much do I need to sell to make up the cost of the booth. Gotta do all that mathin'. This gal is very teal and orange. Can never go wrong with teal and orange. So I'm hoping with DragonCon I can get some more interesting things at the table display. Like, instead of just having art prints, I can have some fun stuff like actually having scarves. One of my most requested items, surprisingly, was scarves. People apparently like the look of this art on scarves. Which I can see some really pretty flower ones when I really think about it. So I gotta start actually laying out my art on scarves and seeing how that fits the format and the like. Lots to do, lots to do. I imagine I'll end up doing what I did with September, where I had multicolor highlights happening at the core shadows. Not the core shadows, but the terminus, I think it's called. See, I need to go back study my shadow terms. Terminus, Terminator. Been watching too much Walking Dead. Which I actually kind of fell out of that show, but I got into the spin-off show Fear the Walking Dead, which I've been enjoying a lot more. It's like a more down-to-earth take. Like, I think because it's like a side story that can take more chances and do some more interesting things. Like, I love that it's about a Hispanic family. And it follows their journey from being in a very dangerous city and then having to escape out into the countryside and how this family survives. It's pretty interesting. There's a whole season of that one I haven't even caught up yet. So many things to watch. But mostly I've just been unwinding after art and more art with Thronebreaker. It's that card video game I've been talking about the past few streams. The spin-off from The Witcher. It's just so fun. And I wasn't expecting to like the story as much as I do, but it's just a super good story for a card game. I wasn't expecting it. Let's see. We'll just give her a base color for the dress because it's gonna be a very cool color shifting dress. Like if I could do something to simulate LeMay, perhaps that would be pretty cool. We'll see. I wanted to get very carried away with sparklies in the dark, but the lighter translucent airiness of watercolor didn't quite fit that idea. See a little corner there I need to fill in. And I think what I'm gonna do is set off to get that idea of this being a sheer dress that I'm going to show the silhouette of the figure. I'm still not quite certain about if that's the color I want to go with, but for now we're going to go with it. I did have to make some concessions that these chains that she has up here in her headdress, that they're not here in the chibi one because it started to get too busy. I wanted to show off the eyes here, and there's some nice details here with the leaves that would also get interrupted by having those dangly chains. So if you look real closely at some of the chibis, they actually don't follow the designs 100% because I had to simplify them just to make them work better visually. Alright, let's do the trim. They left the chains out of here as well. She had some dangling across the ribcage, but that's okay. We'll see if the next version I want to draw of her ends up having the same effect. Oh, I see a segment here, I forgot. So I think we're gonna go with silver chain. I'm still deciding on the opal, probably green. No, I see some parts in the line I want to clean up here too. I'll be back to that. I'll be back. Alright, let's clean up that line down here before I forget. Still bothered by her claw-like fingers, so I'm just tidying those up again. Alright, so let's make those opals green. Can't forget her headpiece. You can see little corners where even expanding the selection didn't quite make it into there, so you have to fill those in. So other cool news from this week that's happened so far. I saw that they're making a live action Sandman inspired by the Sandman comics from Neil Gaiman, one of my favorite authors. I have been waiting for them to do this for years. So I'm hoping that that is the thing that happens. Actually, you know, I kind of want the opals to be the same color as her eyes, so we're going to change that. But yeah, Sandman is awesome. For those who don't know it, it's like, if you like American Gods, which is that strange mix of like modern times and folklore and gods and goddesses mingling with modern day society, Sandman's very much that same flavor. And the main character is mainly the god of dreams who has been sequestered for a while. And he finally breaks out of this prison he was in to come back to a modern world, and he's having to adjust for that and find out what's happened to his family who represent other aspects of the universe. They're called the Endless. Like, for example, his older sister is Death. And despite being Death, she's actually pretty chill and cool and peppy. She's always like making fun of Dream because he's kind of this goth dude. I really love it. It's like, I have now lived long enough that I'm gonna see Sandman adapted into live action, and Witcher, which are two of my favorite things. So I'm so excited. Witcher. See, my usual friends aren't in the chat right now, so I'm left talking to myself like an insane person. How dare you guys have lives? No, I'm talking to myself. This was such a tricky painting to do in watercolor too, because I wanted to keep it subdued, but because it's opal, it's got to have these shocks of bright color flashes in it, because I wanted her to be very much like opal. So I'm not sure how successful I was with this one. Now, do I want them to be different colors? Like, I noticed I made these two more reddish. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. I like that a lot. So, go. Marigold's 1, and I'll have Marigold's 2. So, other thing that's been happening this week, I've been reading Brian McDonald. I hope I got his name right this time. I've been reading Brian McDonald's book called Invisible Ink. And it's a really interesting take on storytelling. Lots of folks, including myself, are much more plot-based or plotters. We like to sit here and plot all the twists and turns and do all the world building and kind of just like arbitrarily explore things because they're cool and not necessarily because, you know, we're trying to orchestrate something that's thematic. And his book, Invisible Ink, actually argues that you should tell stories thematically first. That all those little decisions you make about plot and character and world building should all stem from what kind of theme, what kind of moral, what are you trying to get across with your story via theme. Which is a very interesting take, and at first I was kind of resistant to it. I'm like, you know, that seems too simple. I thought that was too simple. But now that I've been listening to it, I actually feel like, in a way, it's helping me not overthink things with my own stories that I've been writing on. I've definitely been in a writing mood because... stretch time. I've been in a writing mood this month because July is Camp NaNoWriMo time, and that always gets the creative juices flowing because normally before this time of year I've been like neglecting my writing muse. She wants to write all those ideas for stories that I don't have time to do because I'm too busy doing painting instead of writing. They're the two constant muses that are warring inside me. But NaNoWriMo always makes me want to write. And for those who don't know it, it's Camp NaNoWriMo, which happens in, I think, April and July. And instead of being the challenge of write 50k words, you actually are just challenged to do anything you like, basically. You can either set a word count for your goal, or you can do what I do and just say, I will work for 1 hour a day on a project. Which in my case, I chose anything that's Exalted related, because I've been wanting to do more Exalted RPG art or writing. Because I really love the world and the setting. I have a story in it that's many pages long, and a lot of art I've been doing for it as well, that same story. So I need to come back to it, but I've just been so busy. It's hard to make time without the encouragement from events where you got that community pressure to actually do something, so. Okay, is our AC on? Because I'm cooking over my Cintiq. Yes, it is on it. Whew. Hot flashes. Well, hopefully not hot flashes just yet. Alright, we're almost done with her clothing elements. Got that crazy orange strip. You either love this orange strip or you hate the orange strip. I've had people online call it a tapeworm. Yes, I've seen you, Reddit commenter who said it looked like a tapeworm. Which I can't even lie, it kind of does. But the whole, or at least if it doesn't look like a tapeworm, that was a really creative thought, and I commend you for that. But the whole idea behind her outfit is that I was going for a priestess theme. which always makes me think of face coverings and veils and loose draping clothing and intricate jewelry. So she definitely has a shrine maiden priestess theme going on. A lot of these autumn goddesses do, now that I think about it. We're gonna call this layer Tapeworm in honor of the Reddit user who said that it looked like a tapeworm. Thank you for this most creative thought. Let's see, I want it to be brighter. Brighter! Kind of makes me, another user on Reddit also said it reminded them of there's a scientific name for it, but that tubey thingy that comes out of a butterfly's mouth. It's not a proboscis. Proboscis? Proboscis! I have no idea, but it's that weird straw thing that comes out of a butterfly's face and they suck on flowers with it. It's very creepy looking. And I kind of like that illusion as well. Like, people come up with this imagery that I definitely was not purposely thinking of when I created these pieces. I kind of love that. It's so fun to see how creative people can be. See, I'm going to play with the hue slider here and see what temperature I want this orange to be. Either reddish orange, sort of golden orange, somewhere in the middle, I think. About there. We can always change it later if we don't like how it looks. Maybe I should just make it the same orange as the flower. Tie all that together. And now I'm seeing more and more butterfly illusions in here that I definitely wasn't intending, like the segmentation on the headpiece here, which is actually inspired by Mexicana ceremonial looks. I think this is supposed to be teal. Whoop. Oh no, Photoshop, you didn't freeze on me. You did not freeze on me. Save, Control S. Oh, okay. Okay, come on, you can do it. Oh boy. No, Photoshop. Okay, everybody pray. If I've lost my work for tonight, I might just call it and go play Thronebreaker and drown my sorrows in card games. What is happening? No. Now I do have it set to autosave. So maybe if the art gods are with me tonight, it's going to auto recover what I've done so far if I have to force close it, which I think I'm gonna have to. Caught live! Photoshop messing with an artist's mind. Oh, thank God. Photoshop, I love you. I'll never make fun of you again. It seems to have recovered, so oh my God, let us save. Phew. Crisis averted. That was a very strange crash. Okay, so that's enough heart attacks for tonight. Let's try this again, hopefully with less crashing. I wasn't even using the smudge tool that time. Go figure. Alright, we're almost done with flats. Deciding what I want to do with the colored flats for the background. Like if I want it to be dark like the background in the original. Which might be cool because we have all these elements that are going to be glowing, such as the wisps and the petals. All the glow in this one, I really can't wait. It's gonna be gorgeous. Can never go wrong with all the glow. I think we're gonna do like the dark and then maybe just a slightly lighter gray version of it on the inside. Let's see how this works. Oh, and speaking of creepy pretty things, I am so hyped to see Midsommar. It looks like my brand of horror, which I'm not a huge fan of, like super gory slasher things. I like more psychological art house horror stuff. Or like Guillermo del Toro, who managed to strike that intriguing balance between beautiful and creepy. So I really need to see it because I feel like it's gonna hit my particular likes with horror movies. While also not being Hereditary, which is the director's other movie that they've done, which Hereditary was very well shot and the cinematography was great, but I wasn't a fan of like the plot of it. So, see, knowing from reviews that Midsommar is going to be different actually makes me more excited for it. I've also seen some really amusing tweets about it. Because apparently it's just really messed up. Like, I could tell from the... Yeah, that's weird. I think I'm just going to color it the same and then just lighten it. The gray is kind of throwing me off. I'm just bringing back the green since I think that resonates with the orange in the figure and the would-be orange in the petals once I bring that in. But that's the glory of digital, is that if I need to tweak these colors later, I can. Hooray for digital. And we're going to Control S right now, or this thing crashes on me again. Ooh, my smoothing went up really high. That was strange. Photoshop, what do? I'm not even sure what that gap is supposed to be, so we're gonna fill it in. Wow, Photoshop like reloaded with settings that I had a few hours ago. Weird. Okay, time for petals. We're gonna call these BG petals. Oh no, I missed a spot. Erg. can't wait to make these glowy. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, I forgot another gap. I'll come back for that one. I've already selected too many petals to stop now. He used this really beautiful watercolor pigment called Gamboge for these flowers. It's this beautiful orange that is used to dye Buddhist robes. It is also the tube of paint that leaks horribly and gets everything I have around it stained with orange. It is a very persistent color, but it is also very lovely. So I'm trying to decide what I will make the outlines of everything. I think in the original I outlined the wisps with an orange because I thought that would pop the blue. But I'm not sure I want to do the same thing on the chibi. Still undecided about that. But let me just finish doing the easy stuff first before I get caught up. I think I'm going to do two-tone marigolds like I did in the headpiece in the border flowers here too. So let's see, pick some key flowers here that are going to be the lighter ones. Just about every other flower is going to be that color, except for this one. I like to break the pattern, make it feel organic. Okay. This other one's gonna be this other reddish orange. Very pretty. I'm so happy I could just simplify them to little puffs because drawing all of these petal bunches in the original marigolds was a pain in the butt. Don't want to do it again. But it's still, even with as many petals as those are, it still is not as annoying as July's Larkspur. I never want to draw Larkspur again for as long as I live and continue to make art. No more Larkspur. It's not gonna happen. Sorry, any Larkspur fans that are out there. That's straight no for me. Poofs. Hooray for poof flowers. Oh, I forgot a leaf. And a little gap in the petal here too. We're just gonna outline that in. Almost there, you guys. All right. So I gotta decide on these wisps. I'm going to fill them in with blue right now and leave a white center, kind of like there's a little glowing core on the inside. And then we can see how that looks once I start adding all the little other subtle details to this. I think for the outside, I'm going to have just a gold, kind of like she's in a little gold gilded frame. Keeping in line with these warms and cools I've got going on. I created this border design inspired by the petals of her marigolds. Echoing that petal shape. And as ever, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave them in the chat. Feel free to say hi. Oh, I forgot a line again. To come back for that one. We are almost done with laying in the main flats, and then I have to come back in and colorize the lines on the inside. So that's always fun. That's where we're gonna get really meticulous with this. Fill in that gap I missed. See, now I'm not 100% sold on the color of the border yet. So let's see. I'm going to play with it a little. Gotta love the hue slider. More orangey red. Or, yeah, a more reddish orange does look really nice. I'm gonna pop some of these reddish accents. If I change my mind later, I have a little while before I come back to do the shading where I can tweak that color. Alright, let's get these gems on the outside before I forget them. There's a mysterious one viewer, and it's not me. Call this border gem. Yay, we're almost done with the flats. Control S, because I've already almost crashed once during this color flatting session. Alright, here comes the fun part. So now that the main color's related, no sloppy, must fix. Once I fix this, we come back in, and like the other ones in this series, which I'm gonna pull one up for reference. We'll pull up August because I really like how she came out. All the inner lines are going to be colorized, so they're slightly colored and not as dark as black. So this black outline has a nice, crisp look. Gives the picture the illusion of death, and it also adds a little visual interest to this line-heavy style. So we're just going to lock transparency on the line layer, so that way I color only on the line layer. And it keeps me from going out of the lines, which is very handy. And I may even come back and add some color shifts into parts of her outfit to show that she's wearing something iridescent, but I'm still haven't decided exactly where I want the color shifts to occur just yet. So I might do that after I've done some shading and get an idea of where my highlights are, where my highlights and shadows are. Then I can come back and colorize these lines to add color where I want them in key areas rather than guessing right now. So this part's always fun. It's very meticulous and kind of meditative to sit here and make sure, oh, you have to color, but you don't color on this. Don't color in that line. Oh, and I see where I missed a gap earlier too. I missed all the gaps. Ooh, neighbors already getting the fireworks out. It's not even the 4th yet, y'all. Of course, they've been cracking fireworks since this weekend. Ooh, I see where I went out of the lines. Let me fix that too. So I'm just going to go element by element here and colorize the lines. And that means deciding where things overlap. can already see where that's adding to her nice ghostly appearance. Missed some more up here. How did I get so sloppy with the leaves? One can go mad finding all the little coloring errors. But since these are going to be relatively small, I'm trying not to be too obsessed about imperfections, since they're going to be printed very small on stickers. So hopefully no one will notice the very, very small stray marks or anything. I'm going to do my best to clean them up, but I am only human. One very perfectionist human, but I must not let them drive me insane. And as ever, please do leave me questions in the chat. Feel free to say hi. Let me know what you're doing while you're watching my stream. Or feel free to ask questions. Give me something to talk about, or I am just gonna ramble about random thoughts that come to mind. Like today, I was working on some inking because I'm adding some ink drawings to the pin Kickstarter. There's a new one coming on Monday. So I always like to have something very comforting on while I'm inking, and there is no better comfort zone for me than something I'm familiar with, so I don't have to exactly pay attention, but it's also like entertaining background noise. So I've been watching Gargoyles. It is the best series that combines magic, cyborgs, giant, nocturnal, sentient monsters who look like gargoyle statues. They're the title characters. And it was just this most unique thing from my childhood that really got me into loving folklore and fantasy. It's one of my earliest influences. Just thought I'd pop in the DVDs today and let the sexy, dulcet sound of Keith David's voice just comfort me while I'm while I'm inking. Since Keith David is the voice of Goliath. And there's so many cool things in the show too, like fairies, like old school fairies, like from Shakespeare. And I just love that so much. If anything needs a reboot, it really is that series. Oh, I need to get on the right layer. I'm sure at some point in my life I will have to do fan art for that series because I really love the designs of the characters as well. They're just very unique, and I love the wings. I almost love her eyes as they are. Once I go to color this with more shading, next stream most like, might end up just leaving her eyes very simple, but for some flashes of opalescence in them. Maybe some orange flashes. Just trying something crazy with this green outline for her eyes. Let's see how it looks from far away. It washes out, so let's select that and make it darker. The trick is not getting this color all the way to black. It needs to be dark enough to be dark when I shade it and have the shadows added in, but not so dark that it overwhelms that black outline I'm trying to have pop the figure. It's tricksy sometimes. She's going to be extra tricksy because I've got to keep that ghostly appearance of hers as well, and have the color shifting in the cloth. So this is going to be fun once I get to that step where I'm going to be shading this one. actually a bit jealous of this birthstone. Mine is topaz, and I've never been a huge fan of it. It's just kind of boring when you have awesome stones like this one. You got awesome stones like opal, or amethyst, or moonstone. I definitely can't get excited about topaz. Although blue topazes aren't so bad. Alright, neighbors, they're going to war with firecrackers, I think. Alright, I like how that looks. Ooh, I see where I forgot some lines in the shoulders, though. Let's get those. I pretty much ran out of conversation topics, so I'm here to answer questions if you guys have any. Otherwise, I'm just gonna only speak if I have something to say. And let my brain processing power focus on these elements that I'm doing right now. If you've seen the whole series, I'd love to know which ones are your favorites. Which lady do you enjoy the most? She doesn't have to be your birthstone lady. But lots of people seem to find something that resonates with them, with the lady that represents their month, which is always fascinating. It's in these little tight spaces that this gets tricky. I don't want to overlap the wrong elements. I think I want the skin line to be a different color, so we're gonna select it. And make it darker. I like it darker. It was a little too light before. Almost there. It's funny how subdued this one is with just the line art and the color flats. Her base image feels much brighter, but that's probably because of all the highlighting. A littlest sliver of background that I forgot to color in there. Alright, Control S. I'm not losing this picture. Had enough heart attacks for one night. Gosh, so much easier than some of the others were. I know the next one, November, is going to be a pain in the butt, but she's also going to be very pretty. She has a lot more elements to her. Oops. Almost forgot one. I actually think I'm gonna make those lines a little bit brighter too. Oh, computer, I don't want a break. Let me finish that flowers and then I'll take a break, computer. Almost done with the flowers. At the boss of me, computer. Please don't freeze again, computer. I love you. Super close up. Man, looking at this one for October, it gets me so ready for Halloween already. Like, the opposite of those annoying Christmas people who are like putting Christmas stuff out in July. Halloween all the time. Halloween Town. That's what we'll be like once I have the ability to waste money on pointless things like Halloween decorations. I'm gonna Halloweenify the yard if Kevin will let me. Color in her tapeworm. Fine. Fine, we shall stretch. I think all I've got is some of the background elements and the border. And we're done. Stretching is important, kids. So you don't become that broke neck lady in the horror movies. Like me. I have a broke neck. Okay. The yawns have started, so I need to wrap up soon. Okay, so in the original, I did brown for the outside of the wisps, but I'm not actually sure that really worked out very well. So let me test some colors, like maybe a white outline or a really bright orange outline. With August, I did do a yellow and then a bright orange on the outline of the lanterns, and that kind of looks nice. Too dark. That's brighter, more saturated. We're getting there. Maybe even yellow. Yellow looks nice and stands out. Stands out really nicely from this darker background I have. Woohoo, we're almost there. I think I may even do a bright orange around these background petals because I definitely want them to have an unearthly glow to them. I may change it later, but for now the wisps are going to have a yellow outline. like the bright orange. Gives them a nice glow. Now I definitely gotta go watch Coco again too. Such a good movie. Okay, I think all that's left for the color flatting here is for the outside borders, so let's do it. Fix this mistake. At least hopefully it's fireworks outside and not the neighbors having a shootout. But it's probably fireworks. Whee! Almost done, almost done. We're just making the border have its own little flare here. So it looks like it's a separate element as well. Alright. Boom. Let's stare for a minute. Make sure I didn't forget anything. And also save. Let's see. I'm going to select the wisp outline. Let's play with the hue slider and see if we can come up with a better color than yellow. It's kind of getting lost and taking away from the petals as well. So let's try the hue slider and see if we can come up with a solution. now purple's interesting. Or a more blue-violet. That actually resonates with the yellowish tints in this as well. So let's see, go down the spectrum here. I think for me the blue-violet's the winner over the purple. So it kind of fits in with the blue of the wisps and also is a complementary color of the yellow tones I have in here. And there we go, we have a solution. Hooray, Hue Slider! My eternal hero. So that's Miss October. So for the next stream, I'll be taking this and doing the shading, so we'll end up at this level of detail. But for now, I think I'm gonna call it and go and enjoy this night before a holiday. So thank you for joining me. If you happen to miss this stream, it gets automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel. So you can go check me out over there. My name over there is Angelic Shades. And the next stream should be on Monday. If anything happens, I'll put it on my Twitch front page where my schedule is. But I stream every Monday and Wednesday. So you can catch me again at Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be doing the shading on this gal here. Thanks again for joining me. If you like what I do and you like my art, and you want to help an artist keep on drawing and a little motivation, affording coffee and other such essentials for art, you can pitch into my Patreon at patreon.com/Angela Sasser. You can also hit that subscribe button if you're on Twitch, because that gives me a little kickback as well. All Amazon Prime users have the ability to give a subscribe for free once a month, so do consider it. It helps me out. And for now, I'm going to leave you guys and hopefully catch you the next time. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all later.